And I'm sitting there going, what the heck is a boy doing with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish? Has anybody ever asked that question? Is he an entrepreneur? Is he the first stadium hawker? Hey, look, there are 5,000 people up on that hill. I wonder what I get for this bread and fish. They're going to be hungry. Get your bread and fish here! Is he a runaway? Is he running away from home, and is he prepared and stocked up for the long journey with 5 loaves and 2 fish? Is he what would have been called in those days a street urchin, an orphan, a street urchin, hiding in this crowd, making his way up the hill with bread and fish that he has stolen to feed his other gang members, street urchins that he cares for in the forest? Who is this boy? Is he the boy who is the designated food carrier by the family, who is bringing bread and fish for the rest of his family and got separated and is not going to give up the bread and fish until he has the approval of his family? Who is this boy? Is he recruited, or is he drafted? What is it that this boy saw when he encountered Jesus Christ that made him give up these trophies, that made him give up this bread, that made him desire somehow to share this bread and these fish? Maybe what he saw in Jesus' eyes was a promise. Whatever it was, he decided to share, to give the bread and the loaves to Jesus. Now, the next thing, and I'm hoping that the boy had a front row seat, sitting with Jesus' disciples in this crowd of 5,000. The next thing he saw was Jesus blessing the gift that the boy had given. Jesus giving thanks to God, saying, "Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth grain that we might have bread to eat, who has created the creatures of the sea that we might have these fish to eat. Blessed are you, O Lord our God." And then this is the thing I bet you don't know. This is the thing you never picture. John's gospel doesn't say that Jesus blessed this bread and these fish and gave it to his disciples as if they were so many deacons to pass out. Jesus blessed the bread and passed it to each person. Jesus blessed the bread and passed it to each of the 5,000. Not only that, he blessed the fish as well, and he passed it to the 5,000 people. Double blessings. He blessed the bread, distributed it himself, blessed the fish, distributed it himself. And every touch that those people had of Jesus made their lives, made whatever they received from him enough. And they were satisfied. Whether magic happened, whether suddenly there was this great Chris Angel kind of special effect that made the bread become more and the fish become more, I have no idea. But what John tells us is it was Jesus being in contact with each person that was the satisfaction of the event. When it was done, the disciples were instructed to go out, because nothing can be wasted, to go out and collect the fragments, to go out and collect the leftovers and bring them back. Now, let me tell you, there was no PA system that said, okay, all we have are 2 fish and 5 loaves. We're going to see if we can't feed you all to that. No, people have no idea what's going on. The 5,000 people who are there haven't got a clue. They just know that they have been touched in a moment by Jesus, handed maybe a piece of bread and a piece of fish. But they have no idea the number of stuff there is or isn't. What they do see is the collection of the leftovers. What they do see is this massive bringing forward of 12 baskets of bread. And then they are stunned and astonished at what's happened. At that point in time, Jesus realizes that they are going to take him and they are going to make him their king. This matches the idea of the prophet Moses. This is the man that the crowd recognizes as the one whom God has sent. And so Jesus, as he does so often, leaves the crowd and goes off on the mountain by himself. Now, I need to finish the story. I need to finish the story about my Boy Scout, about my young man who had the fish and the loaves. I've got to finish his story. And so this is how I will finish it. After all of the people made their way down the mountain, after all of the people made their way off the hillside, having been satisfied themselves, and Jesus and the disciples had left, there was one sole boy left there at the crest of the hill, surrounded by 12 baskets of bread. And he whistled. And slowly, all the other children came from the woods. All of the other urchins, all of the other orphaned ones, all of the other abandoned ones came from the woods. And they were astonished at what they saw. These 12 baskets of bread. And they said to the Boy Scout, they said, "My heavens, how did you get this here?" And all he could say was, "This was a miracle." And he instructed the other abandoned ones to take the food, and they took it and they carried it into the woods as he told them the story of what had happened. And he remembered the prayer. He remembered the blessing that Jesus had made over the bread and loaves, saying, "Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, who brings forth food so that we may eat." That was what he remembered of the prayer, and he only hoped that next time he said it, it would work again. What he did know was that what he received from Jesus was so much more than he had given.